spend the day book shopping in Bath with me. So the first bookshop we went to was Topping and Company, which I had heard amazing things about and was very excited to see in the flesh. And I have to say it was a little bit magical. The bookshelves are so tall. I love the addition of ladders, although I was too scared to actually go on one. They also have such a huge selection of books and tons of first editions that are signed, and you can get them for the same price. I was expecting it to be a little bigger. I think the pictures make it look bigger than it is, but it was still an amazing experience. They also have this case full of different special editions from the past, I'm assuming. There's an upstairs, and there's also actually a downstairs that I didn't go to initially, but we ended up coming back and I did explore downstairs, and it's huge. Do not miss out on the downstairs. Here I am struggling between The Things We Tell Our Friends and Fight Night, but psych, I actually ended up buying The Pull of the Stars. It was signed and I love Emma Donoghue. I couldn't resist. Although also psych because I did end up coming back for Fight Night. After that we went to Sally Lunn's Bun House. They serve these giant buns which they cut in half and toast with different toppings. We both opted for sweet toppings. I had cinnamon and my nan had caramel, and both were divine. I also had a cheeky little hot chocolate, orange liqueur hot chocolate. How can you say no? And then downstairs there was this little museum section where I made a friend. Look at this little guy. We went past a fudge factory, and how can you say no to fudge? It's one of my favourite things on earth, and it was so good. Anyway, back to the bookshops. Next up was Magalleria, I believe it's pronounced, and this is basically a little magazine bookshop. It was very small, so I didn't get very much footage, but they had the whole collection of Hellebore, which I'd heard good things about and actually ended up buying the first issue, and The Natural Enemies of Books, which again, definitely gonna come back for someday. I'd highly recommend checking this one out. It's a little more niche, but it was really interesting. Next up was Waterstones. I didn't get any footage of the outside of this one, and to be honest, I found the whole experience somewhat discombobulating. Does anyone else have that when you go into different Waterstones, it's not your own, and you don't know where anything is, and it just feels strange? Yeah, I had that a little bit. And then next was Persephone Books. If you've never heard of Persephone Books, I'd highly recommend looking into it more. They publish women writers that aren't published as often. For instance, did you know that Charles Dickens' Nan wrote a book? Because I did not, and I am definitely going to be coming back for this one someday. I, however, opted for Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, and I dilly-dallied over whether to get this cover or to get the Persephone Books grey cover. And then next up was Mr. B's Emporium of Reading Delights. I'm not gonna lie, I mostly spent my time in the shop in the kids section, which was so cool. I didn't even look at the other half of the shop. There's a whole other half of the shop that I didn't even look at, so I'm definitely hoping to come back and see that other half someday. I loved the colours and the decoration. It was so vibrant. This tree and this little mural especially was so pretty. I had to get some selfies. And they even had a whole Isabel Greenberg section, and I love Isabel Greenberg's graphic novels and ended up buying the Athena book there. Bath is such a beautiful city. If you've never visited before, I highly recommend it. All of these bookshops were pretty close to one another. It didn't take us very long. And then we went back to Mrs. Potts Chocolate House, which I adore. There's also one in Bristol, and I think Cardiff as well. They pour melted chocolate over their desserts, and their hot chocolates are to die for. I cannot recommend it enough. This was my first time trying this one with the ice cream, however. I've been wanting to try it for a while, and to be honest, it was more of a milkshake because the ice cream made it cold, but it was still wonderful. I highly recommend checking out all of these bookshops and would 100% do this whole day again.